Hello YouTube, Freddie Cardona here, back with another Driving and the News for today, January 30, 2023. Can you believe it? We've been doing this since September, October, November, December, January, 5 months. We'll be going on our sixth month of doing Driving and the News. I want to say 90% of the days I've been uploading Driving in the News. There are days that I don't go to work. So just to let you know that the mission of Driving in the News is to record history so that anyone can look back on my channel and see any snippets or hear any snippets of news that was going on that day. And the plan is to have you commute with me on my way to work as I listen to 1010 Wins. And I just wanted to say too that regarding the merchandise, the store, the t-shirts that I have, someone did purchase a t-shirt and a sticker. Now I don't see the names of who purchased the items for privacy reasons, obviously. But if you were the one that purchased, or if you purchased a sticker or a t-shirt, I would ask that you leave a comment to let me know you purchased, if you want to. I would like to know so I can properly thank you for that purchase. So whoever you are, I thank you so much. I haven't been able to say thanks because I don't know who it was. It doesn't tell me. All right, well, let's get you guys into the news. Enough blabbering.
WINS FM in HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Another mild day and then really cooling down. Cloudy mild today, 52 degrees. A shower or two tonight. Clearing skies overnight down to 33. Tomorrow, some sun, brisk and a lot colder. Maybe a shower from the cities on south and east with a high of only 39. It's 44 now. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Angela Laurie is our service aide. Phil Pilato at the editor's desk. I'm Susan Richard.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York. Good morning, 44 degrees, 7 o'clock. It's Monday, January 30th. I'm Lee Harris. Here's what's happening. Some migrants living at a hotel on West 57th Street are refusing to be relocated to new quarters at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Advocates say they should be put up in vacant multi-billion-dollar apartments on Billionaires Row. Cops in New Jersey looking for whoever threw a Molotov cocktail at a synagogue in Bloomfield, as a new report from the Anti-Defamation League shows anti-Semitism on the rise. Still no snow in the AccuWeather forecast. We haven't had any measurable snow all winter, and that breaks a record for latest snow or lack thereof in New York City. The Empire State Building got all lit up in green and white because the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Giants fans were not amused. And it's Rats on Ice at Battery Park City. It's not as fun as it sounds. Sports, it'll be the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. 1010 Wins AccuWeather. Mostly cloudy and mild today with a high of 52. Wins News Time 7:01. Traffic and transit on the ones now. Let's check in with Karen Stewart.
Well, a little bit better news with Metro North. We're no longer suspended on the Hudson line, but they are operating with 30-minute delays because of police activity ongoing at Peekskill. So that's the deal with Metro North. 30-minute delays on the Hudson line. I anticipate that at least this hour. Keep it locked to 1010 Wins. We've got traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones, and we'll be the first to let you know when things change on the Hudson line, hopefully for the better. Subways, we've got the Manhattan-bound A's and C's running with delays following somebody who deactivated a train's brakes at Fulton Street. Tisk, tisk. City-bound J trains are delayed. We've got signal problems over at Delancey, Essex Street. And then the Queens-bound N and City-bound Qs are still running with delays because of earlier problems at Times Square, while the Bronx-bound 2s and City-bound 3s are delayed with mechanical problems at Barclays Center. Now, over in New Jersey, the southbound Garden State Parkway, the local lanes at 116 and Homedale, accident, right and centers are closed. We've got traffic delays. As we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, we're looking at 25 to 30 inbound Holland, Lincoln, George, and And in Queens, the Van Wyck is miserable both ways into Liberty Avenue. Absolutely miserable. Southbound from Kew Gardens, northbound from the Belt at Liberty on the southbound side of the Van Wyck. There is an accident. The left lane's closed. Alternate side parking rules and regulations are in effect. And your Odyssey Lottery recap is presented by Jackpocket. Powerball is $613 million. Mega is $31 million. Play them on your phone using Jackpocket. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. I'm Karen Stewart.
That was the post office there on the right-hand side, the Patterson Post Office, the main building.
The 7th Street were supposed to be relocated to Brooklyn, but apparently some of them didn't want to go, as Samantha Liebman reports from Hell's Kitchen this morning.
About 24 men sleeping in tents along the sidewalk in front of the Watson Hotel this morning. This after buses came Sunday to take the single men who were staying here to the newly opened Brooklyn Cruise Terminal to make way at this hotel for migrant families.
The first group of migrants that arrived at the Red Hook Terminal immediately turned around. Some of them took the train back, some of them walked back and told everyone else, don't get on these buses. It's a detention camp, it's a refugee camp.
Sergio Tupac Userin, a spokesperson for NYC ICE Watch, one of the many groups helping the migrants, says the mayor and governor have other options to house these men.
We're on Billionaires Row, 57th Street. These super towers are 40% vacancy rate with their enormous apartments. They can house a good chunk of the migrants.
Meanwhile, the Watson Hotel not letting them back in. We reached out to City Hall for comment, but have yet to hear back. Samantha Liebman, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Hell's Kitchen.
Cops in New Jersey are looking for the person who threw a Molotov cocktail at a synagogue in Bloomfield.
It was caught on surveillance video. Dov Ben Shimon of the Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West New Jersey explains what happened.
We were alerted to the news that an unknown as yet individual wearing a ski mask was responsible for throwing an incendiary device at a synagogue.
That synagogue is Temple Ner Tamid on Broad Street. There was no damage, no injuries either. Bloomfield Mayor Michael Venezia speaking for many.
It's a complete shock. We're devastated about what happened.
He's promising a strong police presence at all houses of worship. Roger Stern, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Rabbi Mark Katz of Temple Ner Tamid talked about the broader implications of the attack at a news conference.
Whoever did this, we happen to be the congregation that they chose, but it's not about us as much as it's about a general ethos of hate and a general ethos of anti-Semitism.
The Anti-Defamation League will be releasing a report today on the state of anti-Semitism. Scott Richmond's director of the ADL in New York and New Jersey.
The results, unfortunately, show a marked deterioration in the way that Americans view Jews.
And he says it's not surprising to him because he sees anti-Semitic incidents every day. As you may have noticed, it's not snowing today, nor is it going to be snowing anytime soon. Normally this would not need remarking upon, but the lack of snow today is actually noteworthy, as Dean DeVore here to explain. Dean?
Lee, the last time there was measurable snow in Central Park was last March 9th with 0.4 of an inch. Since then, only traces. And this date is the latest date previously where there has been measured snow in New York City. There's never been a winter without snowfall that's been measured in New York City. And honestly, there's a chance that could happen. I mean, looking ahead, we're going to break another record this weekend. That's the record for consecutive days without measured snow. And going on beyond that, it could be a while, but there is still a bulk of February and March to get some measured snow here to see if we have at least some snow measured. If not, it would be the first snowless winter since the 1860s records kept. We'll keep you up to date on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, if it ever does snow again, you will be the first to know if you're listening to 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, because we'll give you plenty of advance notice, and that is a promise. Today, rather cloudy, still pretty mild for January, high 52. 44 now, mostly cloudy, humidity at 67, the winds are variable at 5, gusting to 17. It's 44, and we're going up to 52. A suicide bomber attacked a mosque in Peshawar, Pakistan today, killing 20 people and wounding close to 100. Many of the dead and wounded were police officers from nearby police stations. No claim of responsibility, but the Pakistani Taliban has been blamed for similar attacks in the past. The funeral of Tyree Nichols is set for Wednesday in Memphis. The Reverend Al Sharpton will be among the speakers. The release of the video showing his beating by 5 police officers set off protests.
Tyree! Throughout the weekend, peaceful protests from Detroit to Raleigh to New York. Calls for justice in Tyree's name. Tia Harrison, a mother of 3 boys, hoping this time there will be change.
They need to make sure that all of the police officers, not just Memphis, all across the world, need to have the right training, the proper training.
Stephanie Ramos reporting Nichols were black. The officers accused of killing him are black, but some critics are claiming embedded racism in policing still played a role here and reforms are necessary. Former FBI agent Brad Garrett says one proposal would require police supervisors to be called even for routine traffic stops.
De-escalation training combined with a duty to intervene is really key. That's why you have managers, hopefully, that will intervene.
An attorney for Tyree Nichols' family is calling on Congress to pass stalled legislation aimed at combating police misconduct at the national level. David DePape, who smashed Paul Pelosi over the head with a hammer, called a TV reporter from jail to say he was sorry, but not for the reason you'd think.
I'm so sorry I didn't get more of them. It's my own fault. No one else is to blame. I should have come better prepared.
In case you couldn't make it out at the beginning, he said, "I feel sorry I didn't get more of them." The reporter speaking to DePape was not allowed to ask questions. She says his comments sounded scripted. DePape told police he was planning to kidnap Nancy Pelosi, who was not home at the time of the attack. He pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges, including attempted murder and attempted kidnapping of a federal officer. He could get life if he's convicted. It's 44, mostly cloudy in New York. We're going up to 52 today in Midtown. Now this, find Exit Strategy, Plaza Jewish Community Chapel's podcast, wherever you find your podcasts. It'll be the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. This was duly noted at the Empire State Building, and Giants fans were not amused, as Glenn Schuck reports from the ESB this morning.
It could be the most famous building in the world, and I guess they were trying to stay impartial, actually going on their website Sunday morning to say later on in the day they would post color tributes to the teams that won the AFC and NFC title games. While the Empire State Building followed through, turning green and white for the Eagles about 6:15 p.m. And for Giant fans like Spiro, wow, this hurt.
They're lucky I'm working right now because I go down to the Empire State and start a protest just for the fun of it. Yeah. They protest for everything else. We might as well start a protest stand for our Giants. Now the fans in Philly they have something to talk about, you know?
That's exactly what I was thinking this morning. Like, they're going to have this on us forever now.
And they can't do that.
On Twitter, 29 million views and counting, 15,000 comments back at the Empire State Building. Many, I can't repeat. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM in Midtown.
And while 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM does transmit our signal from high atop the Empire State Building, we are not consulted on the color choices for lighting up the top of the building. If you're behind on your water bill, New York City is launching an amnesty program. You still have to pay what you owe, but late fees and interest will be forgiven if you pay in full. About 25% of all city water customers are behind on their water bills, and the total amount owed is more than $1 billion. There are lots of ways to kill rats, but they're trying something different in Battery Park City. They're putting the rats on ice, dry ice. The dry ice is dumped down rat holes, and when it melts, it gives off carbon dioxide, which is supposed to suffocate the rats. Dry ice is considered a safe option, not for the rats, but because it doesn't harm other wildlife or pets and doesn't leave behind any poisonous residue. What happens to the dead rats? They're just left in their holes to decompose. Wins News Time, 7:11. Here's traffic and transit on the ones from Karen Stewart.
Well, we're still plagued with a couple of accidents in Queens. Westbound on the LIE over at Main Street, we've got an accident. We've got the left lane blocked there. We are very heavy into the area from back at 188th Street. And then even once you get past that accident scene, you're going to have a lot of volume out in Woodhaven Boulevard, of course. A little bit of a delay out into the BQE from about 58th Street or so. And then you're good to the Queens Midtown Tunnel, actually. Really good. We've got delays currently coming off the Queens-bound Whitestone Bridge, coming down the expressway, getting to Northern Boulevard. Then it's going to be a little bit busy getting on the Grand Central westbound and out to the BQE for your trip up into the moderate RFK Triborough as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Now, over at the Hudson River, the inbound Holland Tunnel is 40. The inbound Lincoln is 30. The inbound GW Bridge is about a 35 to 40-minute wait for the upper level, half hour for the lower. We've got an accident over on the west side, southbound on the West Side Highway. The Henry Hudson at 150th Street. We are jammed off the inbound GW Bridge. That is not helping the number over the inbound George, which, as I mentioned, is about 40 for the upper, 30 for the lower. Alternate side parking rules and regulations are in effect today citywide. And if you're traveling the LIRR, everything's running on or close to schedule. We're sponsored by Cars for Kids. Our next report is 7:21. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
All right, guys, that's it for today's broadcast. Just wanted to repeat one more time. If you buy something in my store, a t-shirt, a sticker, a mug, and if you'd like, leave a comment that you did so that I can properly thank you and give you a shout out on the channel. And of course, if you just want privacy and you just want to purchase a t-shirt, that's fine too. You don't have to put it in the comments, but I would like to know who purchased so that I can thank you. I mean, it's the gentlemanly thing to do, right? Having said that, please know that no one has to purchase anything to support the channel. Your views is really what helps support the channel. All right, guys? You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next Driving and the News.